You are listening to the Lawyer Stories podcast with host Benny Gold. Lawyer Stories was founded in July 2017 on Instagram and is an expanding global network of lawyers and law students sharing their personal journeys to the noble profession of the practice of law. Join us on this podcast as we dig deeper into these stories and hear from lawyers and law students from around the world in all areas of the legal profession. Here at Lawyer Stories, we believe that every lawyer has a story. What's yours?
Welcome to the Lawyer Stories podcast with Benny Gold. Today we welcome in Victoria Inoyo, Director of Advising at Juris Education. Juris Education helps potential law students get accepted to their dream law school with admission experts that utilize a data-driven and methodical yet personalized approach. Victoria, welcome in.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. How's everything going out west?
It's good. It's sunny. I mean, it's probably going to be sunny till January.
That's
But
awesome.
it's
Awesome.
good.
Victoria's in LA as we speak
Yeah.
right now, so that's awesome. So we gave a little introduction about Juris Education. You are an attorney yourself. I mean, you went to USC Law. You went to UC Santa Barbara undergrad. You're a West Coast person. Juris Education seems like a great program. But let's start with this. This is the Lawyer Stories podcast. So we want to start with your background, take it back to the beginning. So where are you from, and what was it like to grow up wherever you were from?
Yeah. So again, my name is Victoria. I'm from California. I grew up in Southern California. I've been here pretty much my whole life. Born in LA and was raised about an hour out of LA. Went to school undergrad at UC Santa Barbara. And while I was there, that's when I decided I wanted to go to law school. I had the opportunity to go to DC for a quarter, and I worked at a great nonprofit filled with lawyers. And I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. I just don't know what sector I want to go into. Eventually landed on media and entertainment.
Nice.
And that's how I ended up at USC for law school, one of truly a great university to be at, a great law school to be at, especially if you're interested in that sector of the field. So
Totally.
that's a little bit about me.
So tell us what I know you said you worked in Washington, but
Yeah.
DC, but what was it about the law that you were like, hey, I'm gonna pursue that path?
Yeah, so I really enjoyed advocacy. The law is
Okay.
quite complex and there's a lot of pieces. Sometimes it feels like there's a lot of moving pieces and there's always something new to learn. So while I was an undergrad working in DC, I worked with some great attorneys at a great nonprofit. It was the best thing I could have done. And I always tell
Okay.
students and everyone that I work with, it's cool to explore different things, even if you're like, this isn't my end goal. Because working in this DC, I realized I definitely wanted to be a lawyer and I definitely didn't want to work in politics. So it
Yeah.
was like a
Yeah.
great fit. So finished that up and realized I like advocacy. I like reading. I like writing.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed learning. I think that's another factor to consider as well. People who enjoy learning and are very curious.
Yeah, for sure. And you have the perfect job now for it. And yeah, DC always seems to me like a super competitive place. Like everybody's like trying to be the president or something, like they're just kind of gunning for the next best job, or I don't know. I guess every place is like that. But anyway, that's just my little hot take on DC. So, all right. So you knew you wanted to pursue a legal career. You're into advocacy. Tell us about your interest in the entertainment industry and where your law, creativity, and business that sort of overlapped. Why did you get so into that?
Yeah, so I had the privilege of meeting with an attorney. One of the things I did when I was an undergrad, after I realized I wanted to go to law schools, I just cold emailed 20 attorneys in LA and was just
Nice.
like, hey, this is who I am. Do you have 5 to 10 minutes to tell me about what you do? And I
Yeah.
emailed people in different fields. I think that's another thing, again, curiosity. And some of the best advice I got from an attorney was, you know, find out an industry that you enjoy, that you already consume.
Right.
Some people are really into sports. Some people are really into politics. I love entertainment. I
Okay.
have seen over 100 artists live.
Wow.
I always go to a concert. I really enjoy movies, TVs, films. that is me. So when I found out that I liked that industry, it makes the legal profession a little bit more bearable, if we're being
Okay.
honest. So that's how it started. And I just Googled top law schools for entertainment, and I just applied to those.
Wow, just like that,
So
huh? Tell
just
me about
like
the
that.
what kind of concerts you go to? Like, what's your favorite?
Yeah, so right now, currently, I really enjoy Afro beats. So
Okay,
I'm Nigerian American, I'm first generation American, and it's been
cool.
buzzing. Everything from we have artists like Thames, we have artists like Wizkid, Burna Boy, and I really enjoyed that. Um, I also like going to music festivals because I always find artists that I would have probably never found on my own.
Yep.
So that's something else that I really enjoy doing. Just going to music festivals, ending up at different stages and being like, who, oh, cool, who's this?
Yeah, that's great. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm writing Afrobeats down. I want to look that up. Like
Feel
some of
free. I
the
hope
yeah,
you enjoy it.
yeah, for sure. So tell us about the law school journey. Like, what was your law school? Like, you went to obviously a very good law school, USC. That's probably one of the best out there, if not the best. I don't know. But here's my, it probably is the best, right? So, what was your law school experience like out there at USC? Gould School of Law?
Yeah, USC Gold School of Law. It was good. It was good. I happened to be someone who went, part of my law school journey was during the pandemic. And
Okay,
one of the things that I really, one, appreciated about USC is they constantly checked in with their students even during COVID times. So
okay.
despite having to do school on Zoom or talk to professors on Zoom, they were really involved in the student experience. Again, still had the opportunity to go on campus, graduated, and all of those things. But when choosing a law school, I think it's really important to consider not only, you want to be a lawyer, but what type of lawyer do you want to be? And do a lot of lawyers who currently do what you do, have they graduated from that school?
Right.
And it's not impossible, but USC just had such great resources for people who wanted to be in entertainment. They really
Okay.
helped you land internships, they helped you get jobs. And you're in
That's
the heart of
amazing. Like that's a big piece of like going to a
yeah,
school is like a school that's gonna help you get a job or help put you out there in
yeah,
employment for sure.
yeah, for sure. It is.
Yeah, no, so I'm sorry, keep going. So you're telling us about USC.
Yeah, so I knew going to I knew after I researched a lot of great entertainment attorneys that a good amount of them went to USC.
Hmm.
And then when I got into USC, they have different societies. So the Entertainment Law Society, the Music Law Society, and then you're in the heart of LA. So you're able
Right.
to get some of these internships during the school year versus only during the summer when people who maybe aren't from LA are thinking about just working here during the summer. So that's one
Gotcha.
of the things that I also tell students that I have been advising is consider what you want to do, consider location as well. People have different ways they think law
Yeah.
schools are better than others, but it's really important to consider what you want to do and where you want to do
Oh,
it.
so important. I mean, I
Yeah.
honestly I didn't know like where I wanted to take the bar up until like the last like year. I mean, it's really important. I mean, it sounds, I don't want to say it sounds simple, but I think like some kids are so wrapped up in school. And if they're not in their hometown for law school or whatnot, they really need to have like have that guidance, and be set straight in like what they're gonna do and like who they're trying to be. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I have a couple questions about law school. So do you think that a lot of the business entertainments or entertainment companies go more for like the LA law students than out of towners or not really?
So I think that it does help in proximity if you are based in where the company is, right? So that's not only LA, that's also New York
New
for a lot of
York, right?
companies.
Right,
Some, depending on what you're doing, some people might have an office in Miami or Nashville or
right,
Texas. It really just depends. People who are into tech, the Bay Area and California has been a big powerhouse for that.
sure, yep,
But I will say, I do think it helps if you are based in a location that has what you want to do because the competition is tough during the summers. But if you're able to land something during the school year, that's
right,
great.
yeah.
Um, so I really recommend people consider location.
So what about the COVID? So tell me about that. Like, were you there all 3 years of COVID? in law school?
I started law school in 2020.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I had to do about a year and a half. I
Okay.
want to say a little bit into my 2L, we started going on campus with a mask and different things like that.
Wow.
Again, it was tough. I truly, anytime anybody tells me that they were in law school during COVID, I give them an extra round of applause. I think there should be something extra on their degree because it wasn't easy.
Really,
It,
why wasn't it so, and not to play devil's advocate here, but like you had Zoom courses, right? Like your first year of law school, right?
Mhm.
How did they call people out and like do the Socratic method and everything and sort of give you that experience? Like what was that like?
I know people say that, you're lucky you're on Zoom, we're in the, but I think it was so much worse. Again, I've never, or I did experience it when I eventually went in person, but you have to have your camera on.
Yeah.
And then if you don't know the answer, you don't have a friend next to you that's like, oh, you're just in your apartment, like, I, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you do one
I,
of these? Can you be like
no,
and pretend
I
like the
don't think,
camera friend
I
is
don't think, I think they're
you
really
guys could
strategic, but
DM on chat? No, you could chat
no, the
DM. You could,
chat, the everybody can see the
yeah.
messages, and it was
Can you
definitely
pretend to
a
fall out of your chair? Like you get a call out and you just
it was
like fall
I
backwards.
think what professors did to, soften the load already you're going through something that none of us have ever lived through
Yeah.
before going on law school is some of my professors had like a list. So they're like last names A through K.
Yeah.
Just
Be
know
ready.
that
Yeah.
be ready for
Yeah.
this class. I through the rest of the alphabet, you could take a breather unless you want to raise your hand. But
Okay.
it wasn't, I don't think it was great. You
No, it's
couldn't
not. It's
pretend
not
that
a great
your screen
experience.
froze. The professor would tell.
What's that? Say that again.
I said, I know some people are like, oh, can't you just pretend that your internet connection is bad? I was like, I don't get away with it. Yeah.
Just close the laptop down,
Yeah, no, I don't think you could get away with that one,
Your phone
but
would just start ringing probably. So you were involved with a lot of things, Entertainment Law Society, Music Law Society, Black Law Students. How did like those leadership roles really like shape your path to what you wanted to do and become? Like, did you find value in a lot of those sort of organizations?
oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I think there's so much, especially for me as a what I would call a first generation American, and
Yep.
especially being the first in my family to go to law school. There's so much that you don't know if you don't talk to people. And a
Right,
lot of
right,
these
right.
organizations create a sense of community. So if I didn't have the Entertainment Law Society, I don't know if I would have ended up getting my internship at Disney or at
Right.
Universal. If I didn't have like the Black Law Students Association, I don't know if I would have found that community on my own,
Sure. Yeah.
given that there's not that many of us just in the profession in general. So I think it's really important. A lot of schools gotten have widened their approach to organization. So I tell people like try to find a school. There's likely a school out there that has an organization that you will probably fit into.
Right, right.
But I think it's very beneficial to find a community in law school.
Yeah, no, I totally agree that. Sounds like you really had your head on straight and like a good place when you were there.
Thank
So,
you.
did you take any time off between undergrad and law school or no?
I took about a year,
A year. Okay.
mainly just to take the LSAT and apply.
Okay. All right. And you did have like amazing experience. Walt Disney, Universal Music Group. What were those experiences like?
Oh, great. So valuable. Again, kind of off the beaten path. I knew I
Yep.
wanted to be in entertainment, and it's not very common that people have all in-house experience.
Right.
And then given like I'm hoping fingers crossed to get back into in-house again pretty soon, but it was great. I think working at a company is very different than working at a firm. Both are valuable experiences, but I really encourage people to try out both.
Both. Yeah.
Because they do give you different lives, different lifestyle, things like that.
Right. Right. So, tell us, like you mentioned, being the first in your family to navigate or to attend law school. Like, were there any specific challenges that you had? Like, how were you able to navigate those?
Yeah, I mean, something that really helped me and helps me in my current role as a director of advising is that I did a ton of research during that year. I reached out to people. I had conversations with professors at different law schools. I talked to female professors, male professors, people of color, people from different identities. And I asked them about how they got to where they were today.
Mm.
Because just having those conversations, there were so many things that you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't even know about certain scholarship opportunities. I didn't even know what big law was.
Yeah.
So there's certain things that I didn't know, and it was really helpful. I just created like a Rolodex of information, and that information ended up being really helpful to people
Wow.
moving forward. Just down to how to approach a personal statement. Like it's more than just, oh, I really want to go to law school because of its prestige and its value. It's like, no,
Yeah.
your personal statement should be a statement that only Benny can write or only Victoria could write. So that is something that my curiosity led me to. I've always been a curious person, but it was an uphill battle.
Yeah, wow, that's so smart of you to do those things. That's so impressive. And yeah, let's talk about Juris Education. So you're now the director of advising at Juris Education, and for listeners who might not be familiar, this is like a super important program and place that I wish I would have found before I went to law school. So in your own words, tell us what Juris Education is and like what does it provide for future law students? I know it's a lot, so just whatever you
Yeah,
can put out there.
I would say that this is an organization that really prides itself on helping people achieve their dreams of attending the law school that they want to, or the law schools that they're looking forward to, and becoming the attorneys that they want to be in the future, throughout helping them with the entire law school admissions process. So we do have a section within the organization that helps simply with standardized testing. So if you're someone who says, hey, maybe I'm struggling with the LSAT, we have people who are pretty much experts in that field. I would call them experts because I struggled with the LSAT.
Okay.
And then we have people on my side who help you with your written materials.
Yep.
Everything from your personal statement, if you want to write additional essays, if you may be someone who wants to get off a wait list at a school or write a letter of continued interest, we help you from beginning to end. And even
Right.
students who are currently in undergrad who are looking to go to law school in the future, we help with pre-law advising as well to best set yourself up when you do graduate with your bachelor's degree, how to now
Yeah.
go to law school. So if you're someone who's interested in law school, I really recommend that you look into us because I wish I was able to be a part of this as well when I
Yeah,
was
I mean,
applying.
super important stuff. You have old like admissions counselors that worked at law schools that actually are employed at Juris Education who know exactly what law schools are looking for during the admissions process. Like you said, you help with the LSAT. There's a whole department of people from, and they list on the website. The website's great. Very, they put it all out there where the person went to law school. Like, it's a great website where very informative, where people can really learn about it. How do you people usually catch on to like what you guys do? Like, is it mostly advertising, word of mouth? Like, what's been the biggest thing?
I would say everything. A lot of people
Yeah.
have found us on just simple Google search when you're looking for law school help or law school admissions.
Right.
Obviously, if you Google us, we're there. We have a website. We're on social media. You'll be able to find it if you do any of those searches. So again, I really recommend. I mean, if I would recommend it, but again, I think you could just see for yourself. The testimonials are there. The reviews are there.
They're all there, and they're video too. If you want to listen to somebody on YouTube doing a testimonial, a lot of those. So tell us, like, Juris Education supports individuals throughout the law school admissions process. What would you say set you guys are set apart from any other advising program?
I would say one thing that's really helpful with us is it's unlimited advising. If you
Wow,
want to write your personal statement 15 times, I will be there 1 through 15.
wow,
If you get into a school and you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm so happy I got into the school, but I want to apply for this scholarship now, I'll be there.
wow.
If you want to write a letter of continued interest, maybe you got waitlisted at schools, or if you have an interview with a school and you're like, Victoria, I need help with this interview. I've never interviewed for a law school before because it's different than interviewing for a job. I'll be there. So the one thing I think that sets Juris apart is that it is beginning to end advising.
And is this for all students who want to go to law school, like whether or not they're trying to achieve like one of the cream of the crop tier one schools, or say it's somebody who has like maybe average grades and they're looking at a T4, maybe T3, like they still might need help. Like, do you guys take on those type of kids too, or students?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we take on anybody who needs consulting and advising. We tailor it to your goals.
Okay.
So again, some people may say, I really want to enter big law, so they're looking at a certain subsection of schools.
Right. Right.
People may say, hey, my family's in Wisconsin. I want to stay in Wisconsin. I'm only looking at Wisconsin schools. And
Gotcha.
that's fine. We work with people with all different types of grades
Okay.
and all different types of LSAT scores.
All right, cool. No, that's great. I'd love to hear that. So Victoria, like, what does your day to day look like as the
Ugh.
director of advising?
It varies. I tell everyone, February through, I would say June is kind of nice. It's light. I might be doing, a call every day, maybe reading one essay every day. This period of the time, it is Sunday to Sunday,
Right, right.
9 to 6, maybe even 9 to 9. Talking with students, understanding their goals, making sure we're on track to submit on time, and even for the students who want to do early decision for some schools, and reviewing as many essays as possible, and giving each student an adequate amount of time and attention. So it takes a lot of time from September to, I want to say January,
Yeah.
but it varies.
So tell us like an example of somebody that you've helped successfully like achieve get into the law school that they've really wanted to get into, or maybe they got off the wait list. You just spoke of a letter of continued interest. Like that's really cool. I wouldn't have known the name for that. So like tell us, do you have any like stories, examples you could share?
Yeah, so without giving out obviously too much private information, but I
Right,
worked with
right.
a
No.
student last cycle who had some family in Vermont, had amazing, amazing, amazing story. Maybe some people would not consider the strongest grades or
Okay.
scores, and only wanted to go to school in Vermont. They applied to one school. They were like, Victoria, I only want to apply this one school. If I get in, I get in. If I don't, it's fine. And I typically encourage people not to put all their eggs in one basket, but I
Sure.
was like, okay, if that's what you want to do, that's what we'll do.
Does
And
Vermont only have one law school?
I believe they only wanted to go to one law school in Vermont. There was
Okay.
only one school that they wanted to go, and it was in
Okay.
Vermont.
Gotcha.
And that's what I can recall as of now. And we just wrote their personal statement from beginning to end. They started off with a blank sheet of paper. They just told me their story. I asked them follow-up questions. We drafted an outline. We drafted a personal statement. We wrote about 5 or 6 revisions of it.
Mm.
And that was that. And they ended up getting into the school. And that's one of my
Wow.
favorite stories because it's one of those things where you hear about the people with the high LSAT scores and the grades, and they have all these resources and they're applying to 20 schools. Like the likelihood of them getting in somewhere is pretty quote unquote high, right?
Right.
We also have people who are very targeted, and we still work with those people who are targeted, who have a wide range of numbers, and we work with them from beginning to end. So that's something that I was really proud of last
Yeah,
cycle.
you must feel so proud about that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Um, so you've had students accepted at top law schools, Yale, Georgetown, USC, Berkeley. What common threads do you see in those successful applicants?
Yeah. I would say, again, I am on the written material side, so I'm not on the numbers side or the
Okay.
side of testing side. But one common thing I see is one, they focus on quality over speed. So
Okay.
I know sometimes students are like, oh my goodness, applications opened in September. I have to apply the first week. And I
Right.
say, we want to make sure we focus on quality over speed.
Mm.
Giving an average application in September is not as strong as giving your best foot forward and putting your best foot forward in December. And that's one thing that I see among students who get into those schools is they take the time, they write 15 versions of an essay, 10 versions of an essay, 5 versions of an essay,
Yeah.
they listen to the revisions and they apply it. And the second thing, there's two main things. The second thing would be they tell a very original story. If you can reach a personal statement and feel like, maybe somebody else could have wrote this, then it's not personal.
Okay.
They tell a
Okay.
very, very personal
You
story.
would love lawyer stories then. Like if you go on Facebook or
I
LinkedIn
need to.
or
I need
or finally
to.
get back on Instagram, like go through our feed, especially like years ago. I mean, the stories are just incredible. I mean,
I need to.
you got to check them out because you're all about the story too. I love that.
I love the stories. Maybe after this admission cycle in December, I'll get back on social media.
Yeah, yeah, we got to get you back
But
on. I mean, we got to stay in touch. So,
yeah.
so anyway, so I have some more questions here. So, so when I know when I was going to law school, like the big thing, I forgot what they called like the combination between the LSAT and the GPA. It was like what was it called? There was like a term of art that they had for like the whole like thing, like the scored combined and
Oh yeah. I've heard, I think I know what you're talking about, but
okay.
I completely removed myself from that area.
Right,
So
right, you're right. Okay, okay. So then tell us from your experience, like what are the intangible qualities that you help the student bring out, or that Juris Education will bring out, besides the numbers? Because you're not involved with the numbers; it's another department. So like, what you bring out the story, right? So like you're helping the person share their story.
yeah, so the first thing you'll probably do when you're part of Juris Education is you'll fill out a questionnaire and you'll answer a lot of detailed questions about who you are as an individual. So they ask questions about your childhood. They ask things that defining moments that have happened throughout your life. If you've been out of academia for a while, let's say you graduated maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, they ask about what you've been doing. They also ask different things like is fame important to you? Is money important to you? Is work-life balance important to you? How important is it for you to live in a certain type of city or destination? And that's how we get the starting point. Um, from there, we ask why law school, and and we talk about it for 45
Oh
minutes.
yeah, yeah.
And that really helps for us to be able to understand who they are as a person and start their written material from
I
there.
wonder if people, and this is just kind of a like just you say why law school. I think a lot of kids, and this sort of doesn't have to do with this, but like I feel like they have these like big dreams of like doing like civil rights and like doing all this stuff, and then they end up in like I don't want to say any other like disparage any other type of law, but it's I feel like I don't know. A lot of people want to do like a certain thing, and it's just tough to get into, But that's a story for like for another day, because I'm sure you help everybody do what they want to do, or at least get into the type of the school that they want to go. So, if people aren't working with you with Juris Education, like what mistakes are you seeing happen during the admissions process that would not happen if they used you guys?
Well, I don't really know what I work with the people that are working with us, right?
Yeah.
But the one thing I would say at first, maybe when people come to us and they already have a draft or a personal statement or something like that, or maybe they're a reapplicant. We do have
Hmm.
people who are replying again, and this time they're using us. Some things that I saw before is they're focusing on the value of the school rather than the value within themselves that they would bring to the school.
Mm,
People
okay.
say, I want to go to USC because it's in the heart of LA and it has such a prestigious program. And I'm looking forward to clerking and I'm looking forward to this. And I can't wait to take this class, which is great. But it's kind of like applying to a job. You're kind of like, okay, if you go and you interview at a job and say, I can't wait to work here because I can't wait to, have the coffees in the morning and get the perks. It's like, what are you bringing to the law school community? And I
Interesting.
think that's one thing that sometimes gets that people forget is you want to show the law school why they need you, not why you need them. And once you get to a point where you're confident enough to say in a humble way, but still a very confident way, I would be a great asset to your law school community. That's when your essay starts to get stronger.
Oh, I love that. That's great. So, like, what do you enjoy, Victoria, about working most with these aspiring law students?
Yeah, I really enjoy as someone again, as I've mentioned, who is the first in my family to go through this process. I love when I see people who also come into this process not knowing much, learn a lot, create very, very strong materials, and achieve their goals. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what their goals are, it doesn't matter the school, it doesn't matter the location, it doesn't matter how many schools they're applying to. But I really enjoy helping people tell their stories because everybody has an important story to
They
tell.
do. We know that. Yes.
Yeah, which you would be an expert on that. But I think sometimes there are people who are like, oh, I had an average life. I grew up kind of great. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't suffer. And I'm like, there's still something in there. There's still
Okay.
something there. So I really enjoy helping people tell their stories.
I
and see
love
if
that.
they can get into the schools that they want to get into.
I love that. So for someone who's on the fence about law school or unsure about their chances, how can Juris Education provide them with some clarity or confidence?
Yeah, so on the fence of law school, I think that's, maybe a bigger conversation, but on the fence of your chances, one thing I just told a student this yesterday is don't tell yourself no before they can.
Yeah.
Like it
Okay.
is it is not your job. Do not take their job away from them. It is not your
Right.
job to reject yourself.
Right.
So I always tell people if you have the ability to apply, you should apply and you should apply with your strongest application and we will help you create what we both believe is likely your strongest application. If you write 15 essays and you're like, no, I want to do it again, we'll do it again. So I always tell people not to count themselves out. Don't count yourself out because you never know.
That's awesome. So, like, what advice would you give to somebody, like a person looking to go back to law school who's been out for 2 years?
Oh, 2 years is not that long. I would say, even if it's been more than that, 5 years, 10 years, why not give it a shot? You don't have to go. That's the thing. You can get in and you don't have to go, but you might as well try. If it's on your heart and you have the means to try, I think you should try.
So at Juris Education, is it sort of like a menu? You don't have to do the LSAT training, but you can get help
Yeah.
with like how does that work? Like you can get Victoria to help you with all your essays and all that sort of thing?
Yeah, so you can choose what you would like. So some people do both the LSAT and they do the written materials help. Some people just maybe they already took the LSAT, they just need help with their written materials. Some people, maybe if you just want a final look, you're confident in your materials, you just want a final look. Juris also, if we do have the capacity, has consultants who do hourly advising. So they might be able to take, 5, 10, 15 hours and work with you and
Okay.
do it on that level. And it's anywhere from if you're applying to 5 schools to 15 schools. It's pretty much you can customize it how you would like.
Okay. That's awesome. So Victoria, on a personal level, like you've volunteered with California Lawyers for the Arts. Like, tell us about you giving back to the creative community. Like, why is that so important to you? And like, why is community so important?
Yeah, it's so important to me. Again, even in my personal statement, I talked about the importance of art. I think art is something that should be protected, especially given how the world is going and evolving with technology. I think art is the one thing that is so unique, and the rights behind art should be protected and advocated for at every level.
Yep.
Um, Artists are also people that I think need protection. And when I was able to work at California Lawyers for the Arts, these are artists who, may not be able to afford, it's a nonprofit, so they may not be able to afford their own attorney. And I really enjoyed
Mhm.
volunteering with them.
That's all.
I enjoy helping creativity on all levels. So everything from California Lawyers to the Arts, my time at Disney. Art is just something that I really appreciate. I'm a consumer of art, so I was like, I might as well
Love
give back.
that. That's
Yeah.
awesome. What kind of art? Like, I'd love to see what type of art you're interested
Yeah,
in.
so most recently, again, I said I really enjoy music. I've been getting into paintings.
Yeah,
There's
painting. Yeah.
a artist out of London called Alua Salon, creates very unique pieces.
Okay.
Uh, so I had the opportunity to just like see some of the things in his exhibit recently. I definitely want to go to more exhibits here in LA. But I really enjoy all forms of art. So if you have any
Great.
recommendations out there, feel free to let me know.
All right, I will. So outside of the law, we've talked about your passion. Well, we didn't really talk about travel, but like music festivals. What's like something, do you have an experience that like really stands out amongst all your passions, like aside from work? Like a certain like music festival or like art exhibit or something like that?
Yeah, I would say I think it shifted where creativity was at the moment, but I really enjoy again music festivals, and I had the privilege to go to Coachella the year Beyonce
Really?
headline. Yeah. And the way she told a story through her Coachella headline set was amazing. And I
Wow.
remember just seeing all the dancers up there and seeing her there and perform and all of these things. And that was also a defining moment for me because I was still in undergrad. And I was like, there must be a ton of agreements behind this. Like someone
Yeah.
has to.
Right, right, right.
There's probably someone at Live Nation. There's always Beyonce's attorneys, the dancers probably have attorneys.
Uh-oh. She's starting to think like a lawyer, right?
Yeah, so that's another thing. My curiosity just started going, and I was like, "There's lawyers in every field." So I always
Yeah.
tell people, just figure out what you like. There's probably a lawyer doing it somewhere.
Yeah, there
So
is. I
yeah,
love that. Like, figure out what you like. Like,
yeah,
usually it's like figure out what type of law, but if you figure out what you like, I think that that's an interesting way to
yeah.
look at it. So what excites you most about the future, like for your career at Juris Education, as it continues to grow and being able to impact more students?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going back to school. I am working with a lot of students right now. I'm really excited to see everyone, how this admission cycle goes for everyone, where everyone lands. What I'm most excited about for me is the ability to continue helping people achieve their goals of becoming attorneys.
That's amazing.
And this is the first step. It is so fulfilling for me, as someone who again wish they had this. So I really enjoy it.
Do they call you like when they get into the school? Are they like, "Oh my gosh, Victoria"?
Typically, they'll send me an email and they'll be like,
Yeah,
"Oh, Victoria, I just wanted to let you know, like, I got in, like, we can stop like applying to schools now." And I'm like,
yeah.
"Okay."
Wow.
Yeah, they give me an email. They'll usually shoot me an email. Yeah.
Wicked cool. Did we leave anything out, Victoria, that you wanted to talk about today?
We mainly talked about most of the things. I know they wanted to talk about the future of AI. If
Really?
you have
Okay.
any thoughts on AI, I would say a lot of law students are actually and law schools are actually addressing artificial intelligence. I think it's very early stages, but I tell law students that are fearful of AI that there are law schools that are open to it. There's even a law school, I believe it's Michigan, that asks that you write your essay with AI, not your personal statement, but an optional essay with AI. So when
Really? Why?
it's an optional essay, they have different prompts.
Huh.
And I believe the prompt is, I was just working with a student, yes, to be answered using generative AI. How much do you use generative AI, such as ChatGPT? What's your prediction about how much it will be used by the time you graduate from law school and why? And that's the essay.
Wait,
That's
they want you to use it for the essay, or
They
do
want
they
you to
want you to?
use AI to write the essay,
Okay.
and the essay prompt is what's your prediction for how much you will use generative AI by the time you graduate from law school? So within the
Okay.
next
So
4
you
years.
actually write in the prompt, or you actually write like what your prediction is, and they actually come out with
I
the.
haven't written an essay. Most of the
Okay.
students I'm
I was
working
gonna
with have.
ask you about that. Like,
Yeah.
ChatGPT, it's everywhere, right? So like people are, using it for little things, just like emails, like responses, and I mean, it
Yeah.
does sound a lot more cleaner and succinct than like, the way some people can write. But I mean, is that? I'm pretty sure law schools could probably pick up on it, when they get something.
Yeah. And when people have questions about it, I just spoke with somebody else about this the other day. I say one, I think it gets school specific. Some schools embrace it, some schools don't embrace it that much.
Mhm.
And then even within schools, it might get professor specific, class specific. So I tend to err on the side of transparency. I necessarily haven't told people, okay, write your personal statement using AI. But some schools have prompts for that. So it really is school specific. The one thing I will say for the legal profession, though, is I do think not even the legal profession, like multiple professions, AI is infiltrating a lot of professions.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's probably best that we just learn how to use it and embrace it at this point, and rather than not move forward with technology.
Okay. Yeah, I thought you were gonna maybe talk about how some kids didn't want to go to law school because they figured a lot of the lawyer jobs would be taken up by AI.
That is something else that people have voiced a concern. And my thoughts on that is it is a concern that I understand why people have that concern. But one of the critical parts of a lot of roles within the legal profession is empathy.
Hmm.
People come to us
Right.
with all sorts of issues. all
Right,
sorts of
right,
issues.
right.
And being able to be empathetic and personable really, really helps with
Yeah, agree.
outcomes.
Agree.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of legal tech on the show and like people doing incredible things with AI,
Yeah.
documents, creating complaints, like putting medcrons together, just
Oh,
everything.
wow.
So just by putting it into like the machine or whatever it is, and it just like it just like spits out the whole
Yeah.
thing. So it's pretty sweet. But yeah, that's interesting, the whole like AI thing. But I think that's good that you're kind of taking that on head on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good. Did you want to talk at all about that anymore?
No, that's it. I mean, again, this was lovely. I'm
Yeah,
happy we were able to find the time to talk.
yeah,
And
for sure.
it's honestly been a pleasure being on the podcast.
Yeah, no, you were terrific. What you guys do at Juris Education is fantastic. I would recommend it to any uh, aspiring law student out there. And Victoria, please stay there. Don't hang up yet. Everybody else, thanks for tuning in. Wherever you are in the world today, enjoy yourselves. Cheers.